everyone, it is Flynn Patrick once again, and in this video we will be releasing the number 63 player in the NBA for 2017-2018. In this series, we are counting down the top 120 players in the NBA. We already have full-length videos for every player ranked between 64 and 120. Make sure to check that out before you watch this. I am super duper excited to talk about this player who I feel is one of the more underrated players in all of the NBA. Let's get right to it. The number 63 player in the NBA for 2017-2018 is going to be Thaddeus Young of the Indiana Pacers. I remember back when I was a young kid, Thaddeus Young was a top 5 high school recruit in the class of 2006, and I really wanted him to go to Memphis, which was my favorite college team at the time, and he ended up going to Georgia Tech instead. But he ended up being a lottery pick, and he has carved out a very nice 11-year career. Let's start with the good. Thaddeus Young is one of the more underrated defenders in the NBA, averaging 1.7 steals a game this past season. There are only 4 players 6'8" or taller other than Thaddeus Young to average at least 1.7 steals in a game this past season. Those players are Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Ben Simmons, and Robert Covington, and Thaddeus Young is also on that list as well. He averaged 12 points a game and 6 rebounds a game. He had a nice 26.6 rebound, 4 assist game versus Cleveland, which I would say was his best game of the season, statistically at least. But honestly, the reason Thaddeus Young ranks so high on this list doesn't really have to do much with the box score, but the impact he had on this Indiana Pacers team this past season. Little bit of a spoiler alert, but he is actually the second highest ranked Indiana Pacer on this list other than Victor Oladipo. So that speaks volumes to how much of an impact he had on this team that almost beat Cleveland in the playoffs. And it was pretty much a universal acceptance that this team did better whenever Thaddeus Young was on the floor. And a lot of that probably has to do with him being the veteran leader on this team, but he is such a versatile defender, and he is consistent and durable, and he has a positive attitude, and he was absolutely a big reason why Indiana did so well this past season. I actually went to an Indiana Pacers forum to talk with their fans about why and how he was doing so well, because throughout the season, he was consistently ranked in my top 75, and for a player who's really not a big name whatsoever, I was sort of wondering why this was. And they all absolutely love Thaddeus Young. They were talking about how much he helps their team and how well he played overall. Also, what did help his ranking a little bit was he did play well in the playoffs, including a 12.16 rebound performance versus Cleveland in Game 3, as well as 14 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists versus Cleveland in Game 7. His playoff performance absolutely boosted his ranking a little bit. So an interesting story here, Thaddeus Young is considering declining his $13.7 million player option and becoming a free agent next season. Surprisingly to some, I would say this actually would probably be a good decision based on where he is ranked on this list and his current value. It's kind of crazy he's only 29 years old since he's been in the NBA so long, but he turns 30 the day before the draft, and I can see why he would want to do this because I absolutely believe based on his value, I would say he's actually more of an $18 to $20 million a year player right now, especially considering the impact he had on this Indiana Pacers team. I think that he could absolutely be a solid role player who is consistent and gets the job done. And I can see him getting a 2 to 3 year contract at $18 to $20 million a year in free agency. I think it is a smart decision for him to become a free agent. Thank you for joining us today. Congratulations to Thaddeus Young for cracking the hashtag Infinite Rank Top 120 at number 63. My name is Flynn Patrick. We will be back with the number 62 player shortly.